Hello, boys, girls, and my dear friends. We started from the Life Republic Township for our Shimla Manali trip. In today's episode, we'll see in short how was our trip. My name is Sambit Mukherjee, and welcome to SM 360 Degrees. Let's discover. Here we have got on from our flat and are boarding the cab for the Pune airport. We have started from the Life Republic Township, and this is how Pune looks like during early morning. And here you can see we have reached the Pune airport. This was the first time we had seen that while booking the flight tickets, we were prompted and asked if we needed any cabs in advance. So we booked this Meru cab in advance, and it was really very helpful. We have reached the Pune airport and will get down from the cab. Now this is the first look of Pune airport, how it looks like at 5:50 am in the morning. This was also the first time we saw that our hand luggage were being scanned in advance. I had never seen this one earlier. Next we scanned our baggages. Once the baggages were scanned, we went to the counter to submit them. After that, we went for our security checks here. Once the security checks were done, we were asked to go to gate number 9 where our flight would be coming. And here you can see us waiting for the flight. Due to COVID-19, the flights would fly only from 8 am to 8 pm, and from 8 pm to 8 am there would be no flights. Right from entering the airport till we boarded the flight, it took us a very long time because everywhere it was taking a longer time. Here you can see we have boarded the SpiceJet flight from Pune to Delhi, and here the plane is running for takeoff. The flight took off smoothly from Pune airport, and here you can see we have almost reached Delhi. This is how Delhi looks like from the top. And now we are preparing to land at Delhi. We have landed at Delhi now. Here you can see all the passengers are in a hurry to get down from the flight. This was the bus which carried us from the flight to the Delhi airport, and this is a look of the Delhi airport. This is the bus which carried us to the entrance of the Delhi airport, and here we are entering inside the Delhi airport. This is how the airport looks like from the inside. We had to collect our luggage from belt number 5, and here you can see me collecting one of our luggages from the belt number 5. As usual, Adit doesn't know what he is going to get through when he goes to Shimla and Manali, but as of now he is enjoying the Delhi airport. We stopped over there and fed Adit because we would be going for a long cab drive from Delhi to Chandigarh. Here you can see us getting out of the Delhi International Airport. This is the Terminal 3 from where we are exiting, and our cab driver would be coming somewhere here to pick us up for Chandigarh. This is how the Delhi International Airport looks like from the outside, and now we are waiting for the cab. We'll be boarding the cab from here. After some time the cab came and we boarded it. Here we have started from the Delhi International Airport for Chandigarh. In this shot you can see the Delhi metro passing parallel to us. During that time the farmers' agitation was going on and we had to take a route from the village. Here you can see we are passing through the village. After crossing the village roads, we stopped over at this Shiva Dhaba, which was quite a big restaurant. Here we had our lunch. This was in Sonipat. We finished our lunch pretty quickly because we had to travel a long distance. Here we stopped over to fill diesel in our cab. After filling the diesel, we started again and reached our destination, the Suresh Theatre, which was in Panchkula via the Zirakpur. Due to road tax issues, we had to exchange our cabs here. This particular cab dropped us here, and another cab picked us for Shimla and Manali, which would be with us all along till it dropped us back to Chandigarh. We started immediately from Chandigarh without wasting any time, and here you can see we have almost reached our Shimla hotel. We had started at 4 a.m. in the morning, and right now it was almost 10 p.m. in the night. This was really a very hectic journey. We had reached Shimla during the night and could not understand the scenic beauty. This is how the scenic beauty was as we see from the rooftop of our hotel. That's the hotel restaurant where we had our breakfast and dinner, which was complimentary from the hotel end. We finished our breakfast and left for Kufri where it had snowed few days ago. Here you can see all the snow fallen on the side of the roads. There were many adventure sports activity spots and this was one of them. Here most of the activities were for kids and my toddler son won't be able to perform any of the activities. This is a glimpse of all the activities which are conducted here. I decided against performing any activities here because there was hardly any activity which I could do, and next we went to a point which was, I think, the best happening point of Kufri. Here the adventure sports activity spot was really huge. This is the parking lot of this particular adventure activity spot, and by looking at the parked vehicle you can imagine how many people have visited here. My spouse was not feeling well and she was not going to participate in the adventure activity spot, so I went there alone. I took a package which cost me 1500 rupees. 500 rupees for up and down horse ride and 1000 rupees for all the adventure activities. We had to walk to reach the horse pickup point from the parking lot of this adventure sports activity spot. This is the horse pickup point. It took me almost 20 minutes to reach the horse drop point, and here you can see we have reached the horse drop point. However, the adventure sport activity spot was nowhere near. We had to pass through this fancy market and then one telescope point before we could reach the jeep pickup point. By the way, the jeep up and down was also included in the package. This is the telescope point where you can see all the beautiful scenery using telescopes. We are done with the telescope point and let's go to the jeep pickup point. Upon reaching the jeep pickup point, I came to know that I cannot board any of the jeep. I have to board only the jeep which is of the vendor from which I took the package. Finally, I got the jeep and here you can see I have boarded the jeep and reached the adventure sports activity spot. From this jeep drop point, we had to walk a little bit till we reached the actual adventure sports activity spot. This is the beginning of the adventure sports activity, and here you can see all the gears are being put on me. The first activity is zip line, and here is my turn now. So many tourists visited here that these people fall short of the safety gears. I had to wait for almost 2 hours before I got my safety gears.
Next it. Don't touch wire.
Once the zip line started, all the other activities were being performed really very quickly. After completing the zip line, the next activity was this particular Burma bridge where we had to walk on this particular rope ladder and finally they would release us from the top and we would fall on the net below. When I looked others performing this activity, it looked very simple, but believe me, it's not that simple because the entire ladder shakes while you walk and below there is no protection. The only protection you have is the rope tied to your hip. So even if you slip down, you will be hanging in between. Once you reach the other end of the Burma Bridge, that's not the end. You have to turn around on this shaking Burma Bridge and then sit down and then hang before they drop you from the top.
सीधे भी आप बॉडी टाइट एकदम
After completing the Burma Bridge, the next adventure activity was valley crossing. Whatever activity you did here, everywhere you had protection tied to your hip. In this particular valley crossing, you had to use your hand and cross the valley like this, and once you're done, this particular person would lower the rope and you would slide down while coming back. After the valley crossing, the next adventure activity was the commando net. Believe me, this looks really very easy, but this is also very tough, and I found this to be the most exhausting because you really have to be very fit to climb this rope wall. Actually, I was feeling breathless after performing this activity, and upon that, at the end, again they would suspend you and drop from the top. That will add to your breathlessness more. There were actually 6 activities, but I had performed only 4 and got totally exhausted. The sun was also setting down, and you can see I was not wearing any winter gear. I was feeling very cold. So I decided to return back as soon as possible. Here you can see me returning from all the adventure activity spot. I observed one thing here. If you're standing in sunlight, you won't feel any cold. But the moment you're in shade, you will start shivering. This is the type of cold here. After completing 4 of the adventure activities, huffing and puffing, I reached the jeep pickup point, which again took me back to the fancy market on my return journey. Here I have got on from the cab and have started walking back on my return journey through the fancy market. You can observe that I am climbing right now. I am already dead tired, and upon that I have to climb up till the horse pickup point. Just by looking at my face, you can make out how tired I was. I was just looking at sitting on top of the horse and getting back to my cab as soon as possible. Finally, I sat on the back of the horse on my return horse journey to the parking area. Coincidentally, I got the same horse which brought me here. It was taking me back again. The return journey was pretty quick, I believe, because we were getting down. While going up, it took us 20 to 25 minutes to reach the adventure sports activity spot. One final look at the horse pickup point before we exit from here. It had become evening by the time I reached our cab, and here we can see Adit and his mom waiting for me. It was not end for my trip. From there again we went to the Shimla Mall Road. This is the lift which is there at the Shimla Mall Road. We took it to reach the Shimla Mall Road. It costed us 10 rupees per head to use it. There are 2 lifts. One lift we have already seen, and this is the second lift which we had to board, and finally we are getting out and reaching the Shimla Mall Road. Guys, this is the Shimla Mall Road. One good thing here was that there were strollers available for toddlers. We took one for Adit. It costed 200 rupees per hour. And this is the Shimla Mall Road. We had to climb these stairs to reach the Christ Church, which was at the ridge of the Shimla Mall Road. That's our national flag, which is hoisted on the ridge. It was almost 10 p.m. and everywhere it was really very dark. To get a better view, I clicked some photos in the night mode. Here you can see the ridge at 10 p.m. And that's the famous Christ Church. From this Shimla Mall Road, we returned to our hotel and next morning we left for Manali. This is the restaurant where we stopped in between to have our lunch, and again we started from here and then passed through the out tunnel before reaching our Manali hotel. Again, it had become very late in the evening before we reached our Manali hotel. The day before it had rained, and here it was pretty cold. It was almost minus 1 degree centigrade. Now, this is a view how it looks like outside our Manali hotel. And mind you, these are apple trees. During season, these trees will be full of apples. In Manali, the first point which we visited was the Hidimba temple. This is the first gate of the Hidimba temple. Here you can find many artifacts which you can either wear and take photographs or buy. You even have some yaks on top of which you can sit and click some photographs. And now this is the gate from which we are entering the campus of the Hidimba temple, and in front of us that's the famous Hidimba temple, and this is all the greeneries that is surrounding this particular Hidimba temple. There is this Dhunri One Vihar behind the Hidimba temple. After checking out the Hidimba temple, we went to the famous clubhouse of Manali. Here too you can make out the number of people visiting this particular Manali clubhouse by looking at the cabs in the parking area. The entry fee here was 25 rupees. That's the actual clubhouse of Manali. There are various fancy shops on the right hand side. We can see here one non-functional ticket booth which is closed down due to COVID. Now let's enter the adventure area of the clubhouse. As you can see, here you have got the zip line, and in between you get suspended and they swing you on this particular stream. Your feet would be touching the waters, and that's the excitement and adventure. Once we completed our visit of the Manali clubhouse, we started and reached the Manali Mall Road. Along with the Manali Mall Road, here we had the famous Manali One Vihar and one Buddhist monastery. This is also called a Tibetan monastery because there are many Tibetan refugees here. That's the entrance to the Buddhist monastery. And this is the campus of this particular Buddhist monastery. This particular monastery's name is the Himalayan Ninmapa Buddhist Monastery. The Manali Mall Road was hardly 5 minutes walk from here. You can see us getting out of the Buddhist monastery and going towards the Manali Mall Road. This is the entrance of the Manali Mall Road. Let's enter from here. The Manali Mall Road is very famous and you can see many shops here. Almost all the shops are open and you can see multiple people hanging out here and enjoying their time. Due to our time constraint, we reached the Shimla Mall Road a bit late and it was dark. Almost all the shops were closed. But here we are at the right time. Almost all the shops are open and you can see all people hustling and bustling all over. That's the famous Durga Mata temple on the right hand side. Here we can see many people sitting and soaking the sun on this cold morning of Manali. We have reached the other end of the Manali Mall Road, and here I am taking a 360-degree angle view from this particular point. From here, I took a U turn and again returned towards the starting point of the Manali Mall Road. And we are back at the point from where we had entered this particular Manali Mall Road. Now we'll go and visit the famous Manali Van Vihar. The Manali Van Vihar is nothing but a group of tall trees. Here we get a peep of the Manali Van Vihar. I had inquired at the ticket counter of the Manali Van Vihar, and that particular person told me that you have got only greeneries here, nothing else apart from greeneries. Just like the Hidimba temple, here too we have two gates. One is the main gate and the other one for entering and exiting the Van Vihar. Here we can see the ticket counter. The next morning, that is the third day of our Manali visit, we started from our hotel room for the Solang Valley. Although we had carried our winter jacket and trousers, we were recommended to take the special dress for climbing the snow valley. You will get such kind of shops everywhere in Manali. However, our driver had taken us here because it seems he knew these people, and this shop had quite a variety of dresses. We hired and wore that special costume on over our dress and then started for Solang Valley. Here we are entering the Solang Valley parking area. We had just reached the parking lot of the Solang Valley, but not Solang Valley yet. To reach the Solang Valley, we either had to take horse ride or a quad bike. We went for a quad bike. After getting down from the quad bike, we had a nightmare because we had to go for hiking to reach the Solang Valley.
ठीक है.
After trekking on this treacherous rock, we were finally at the foot of the Solang Valley's snow mountain. We were dead tired. After taking a little bit of rest, we went for skiing. Ladies first. First, my spouse's turn to ski. Next was my turn. I should say we really enjoyed skiing at the Solang Valley. Apart from skiing, there was this tube sliding also. It's 100 rupees per tube ride, and at a time either one or two people can simultaneously ride the tube. As per the cost of skiing goes, we had already taken the package from the hire shop from where we had hired these special clothes. It costed us 2000 rupees for skiing for both of us unlimited. This also included the cost of guides, which were really very helpful while getting down this snow mountain. They really helped while carrying Adit, and we were trekking all along behind them. Here I went for a stroll on the snow. It was my dream to lie down on the snow, and my dream came true. You can see me here lying down on the snow. We were feeling a bit hungry, and there was one snack center where they were cooking Maggie. So we went there and had two plates of Maggie. Each plate costed 50 rupees. We also purchased 1 liter bottle of Bisleri water, which costed 30 rupees. We also had tea. Tea costed 10 rupees per cup. Now it was time for our return journey. I could understand pretty quickly why we were recommended to hire the dress because while getting down we had to slide down. If it was our dress, it could get damaged. After getting down from the snow clad Solang Valley, we had our nightmare returning again back via hiking on these rocks. This is where it was a paisa vasool for us. The guides really helped us carrying Adit on these rocks while we trekked on our own. We had to reach the quad bike point where the quad bike had dropped us. From the same point, the quad bike would pick us up, but for that, we had to reach there and call the driver. The quad bike was not included in the package and it costed us 1000 rupees for up and down journey. The quad bike driver was a good rider. We safely reached the parking lot of the Solang Valley. From there, we again started and reached this Nehru Kund, from where fresh water spring was coming out. This was really very auspicious as per the local community here. It's just like the Tiger Spring Point of Mahabaleshwar. I had a spare 1 liter water bottle in which I filled up this fresh spring water. Then we visited once again the hire shop to return the dress and from there we returned to our hotel. That evening we took good rest because the next day we had to travel from Manali to Chandigarh and it's a 9-hour journey. The next morning we finished our breakfast, settled our dues at the hotel and started for Chandigarh from the Manali hotel. We stopped over at this particular restaurant and had our lunch here before resuming our journey towards Chandigarh. Once we completed our lunch, we resumed our journey and reached the state border of Himachal Pradesh and Haryana. Actually, there was one special reason why we stopped over here. The driver had to pay the road tax to enter Chandigarh. Meanwhile, we had our evening tea here. After that, we did not stop anywhere and finally reached our Chandigarh hotel. We stayed there for 2 nights. The next day, we took complete rest and the next morning, we went to the Chandigarh airport for our flight. This hotel was right opposite the famous city court of Zirakpur. We had chosen this hotel because this hotel was only 8 kilometers from the airport. After staying there for 2 nights, the next early morning at 4 am, we left the hotel for the Chandigarh airport. This is how the entrance of the Chandigarh airport looks like. I am very sorry to say, but I found the airport personnel of Chandigarh very rude. Same were the flight crew members of the Indigo flight. I had never seen such rude behavior in my life. They were totally impolite and literally shouting at you. Here we have scanned our baggage and are standing in the queue to submit them. This is where we have to wait for our flight. It's time for our boarding, so we are getting prepared. And this is the queue where people are waiting to board the flight. We are done with all the formalities and are waiting for the bus to carry us to the flight. We have boarded the plane and it's about to take off from Chandigarh for Pune. And finally, we have taken off from Chandigarh, concluding one illustrious tour of Shimla and Manali from the Life Republic township of Pune. From Pune, I had taken a SpiceJet flight for Delhi. While returning, I had taken one Indigo flight from Chandigarh to Pune. If anybody wants me to compare both this flight, I would say the SpiceJet flight was way better than the Indigo flight. In other words, Indigo has become a full moon and SpiceJet a new moon. Meanwhile, we have reached Pune and right now are flying over it, and pretty soon we'll be landing. Today's episode is just a very small summary of my entire Shimla Manali tour. I have already uploaded multiple videos about my Shimla Manali tour. Do watch them. I'll also provide you a playlist link in the description box below which contains all the video links. The flight has landed successfully. It's always good to return home. So we are back at our home. That's all in today's episode. I hope you enjoyed watching today's video. If you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with all your friends and family members, whomever you think would require this particular information. Let me know if you want more information and tell me what videos you would really like to watch by commenting below the video. Keep watching all my videos. Subscribe my channel and click the notification bell to receive my latest videos. Thanks for watching today's video. I'll catch you back in my next episode. Till then, take care of yourself and your loved ones. Goodbye. Peace.